The street vendors, domestic workers, producers, collectors, waste pickers, traders, money lenders, and even the guards. About 2 billion workers globally operate without registration, paying taxes, or having formal contracts and the like.
Niko na store, pia niko na duka ya kusupply input kwa hao wakulima. Ilitwa Buka Farm Stores hapo Inandiru na Agro Shop pamoja na aggregation store.
But did you know that globally, the contribution of informal businesses to the national gross domestic product is estimated at around 60%? It is the largest in Africa at around 86% and 68% in Asia and the Pacific. The size of the informal economy in Nigeria is almost 60% of the GDP and accounts for around 80% of all employment.
The informal economy in the Nigerian food system plays a pivotal role in sustaining the drivers of the national economy towards achieving the Sustainable Development Goal.
In Kenya, 8 out of 10 jobs are in the informal economy. In Ethiopia, work is mainly informal, with over 90% of workers in the informal sector contributing to an estimated 23% to the GDP. In Bangladesh, 84% of the total working population was in the informal employment. It is clear that in every corner of the world, from the bustling markets in Southeast Asia to street vendors in Africa, the informal economy feeds millions, often behind the scenes.
Innovations such as the reintroduction of sorghum on the semi-arid islands of eastern Indonesia can start with the local entrepreneurs and scale via the networks.
While recognizing the challenges of informal economy, such as exploitation and exclusion of disadvantaged groups, food safety concerns, abusive child labor, poor working conditions, lack of job security, and absence of formal safety net.
Sometimes formalization is the only way for women in India to be recognized as a value chain actor.
हमारे यहाँ 60 से 70% कृषि का कार्य महिलाओं द्वारा किया जाता है, जिनमें से 6% महिलाओं के पास ही जमीन का मालिकाना हक है। लेकिन आज भी कृषि के रूप में महिलाओं को पहचान नहीं मिली है और उनके साथ महिलाओं के साथ भेदभाव भी किया जाता है, जिसके कारण उनकी आर्थिक व सामाजिक स्थिति में विकास नहीं हुआ है। आज भी ग्रामीण महिलाओं को बाजार से दूर रखा जाता है।
It is important to acknowledge that the informal sector plays a crucial role in the global food system. From the farm to the table, from the field to the market, from grass to glass, and from fish to dish, the informal economy serves as the invisible thread that connects and holds together the global food system.
Informally organized urban gardens and distribution systems evolve fresh vegetables in metropolitan cities like Kinshasa.
Indigenous vegetables was seen as a food for the poor, but it is gaining the popularity due to the nutritional benefits.
Do we recognize and value them? Do we see them? Do we feel them? During crises such as the ongoing conflict in Ethiopia, the pushcart vendors are ensuring there is movement of food to the members of the community. During such circumstances and situations, the informal economy proves its strength, importance, resilience, and creativity to ensure the continued flow of food along the food supply chain.
አቅሞ ደካሞች ስለምንደርስላቸው አባታሞኒ ባዋሪ ጃባሪሞ በሉዎ ባንክ ሲያያት ፊሲሲ አግበ ሶ ይወን ባና làwọn náà wà gbówólé ìdí náà tó jẹ́ dàbí wípé nǹkan èrè oko wọ́n lọ́jà báyìí o àwọn Boko Haram ò jẹ́ wọn ó sinmi àwọn Fúlàní ọdẹ jẹ́ káwọn àgbẹ̀ gbádùn àwọn ni wọ́n ń ṣàkóbá wa.
Nevertheless, often the informal sector is still not seen, it's neglected, disapproved, or outrightly criminalized.
The rest of formal seed producers are protected by the government, at the expense of informal seed producers who in East Java, Indonesia, even ended in jail.
Dulu 2 bulan, terus baru dibawa ke pengadilan, langsung masuk di karet sungai itu, yang di lapas, dikenakan 1 tahun, tapi saya menjalani tuntutannya itu budidaya tanaman tanpa izin, satu. Terus yang kedua jual benih tanpa sertifikasi. Terus ketiga, tidak boleh menjual kalau nggak ada mobilnya.
But let's take a journey along the food supply chain. Every meal we enjoy begins long before it reaches our plate. It starts with the farmers, the land, and the intentional decision-making by farmers to produce, and the seeds that take root in the soil. From the field, food moves from aggregation to processing, where it is cleaned, transformed, packaged, and prepared for distribution.
Wakiaggregate pamoja, sasa tunapima, tunachukua ile mkulima kulingana na kilo zake, alafu tunaleta pamoja, sasa tunauza kama kikundi.
Do we see the pulse of the informal economy? Food then has to move from processing through warehouses and other types of storage to retail shops and markets, making its way into the hands of the consumers. Here, food finds its final destination in our kitchens, on our tables, in the restaurants where we eat and dine. But what happens to the food we don't eat? The leftovers, the scraps, the produce that gets spoiled in the markets. From farm to the table and beyond is a cycle we can all be part of.
To move towards circular economy, we must not forget the waste collectors, the cart pushers, nor those selling or using recyclable materials.
Understand how our food systems work without all these actors in the informal economy: the bustling street vendors, the artisan workers, the farmers, the boda riders. Do we overlook them? Are we taking their contributions for granted? Many of us rely on the formal economy, offices, factories, and structured businesses. But is our understanding of what keeps our world running complete? What if countries across the world stepped up their efforts to eradicate the informal sector? Would we have the same convenience, the same variety of food and goods and services? What would our cities look like without those who work outside the bounds of formality? Do we appreciate the interdependence between the formal and informal economies? Are they competing or are they complementing each other?
Jackfruit is the national fruit of Bangladesh, and there is insufficient attention for many mainstream actors and bias towards technological solution and industrial processing.
Development professionals, projects and government often only see formal actors and formal solutions and do not see the positive benefits of informal brokers.
Often we fail to see the full picture. The informal economy is not just about self-employment for survival or exploitation of farmers. It is not only about non-compliance by the midstream actors or unregulated and insecure businesses. It is not about the lack of or inadequate food safety standards and handling processes. Rather, it should be about building the foundation of local economies, bridging gaps, and creating opportunities where few others exist or do not exist at all. This is where the contributory power of informal economy comes in.
A fundamental transformation of the Somalian livestock sector is impossible without a better engagement of pastoralists and traditional clan elders.
Are we biased in how we view the informal economy? Is it seen as less important or less legitimate? The truth is, the informal economy is often the lifeblood pulsing in our communities. It is flexible, dynamic, and resilient. The informal economy plays a very important role. Rather than trying to fix it, let us collaborate with it to transform food system in the face of climate change.
In the Eastern Congo, the government and organizations can do better is give more attention to the informal economy.
What if we engaged with the informal economy better and more? What if we recognized its values and worked together to address its dark side, bridge the gaps, and strengthen their positive contributions? The future of our economies depend on it. The question is, are we ready to listen?